Hi folks, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Guadalmar in Spain on a beautiful May day. Before I get into the topic of the video, I've decided that my scooter, which hasn't starred in too many of my videos at all, is going to get used in today's video. And I'm going to use it to take you on a very quick scoot to Guadalmar Marina. And by the way, every time I've used it, I've almost got killed. Let's hope nothing happens today. Right, onward and upward. Guys, I forgot how to make this go fast. Right, I'm going to pull in here, see if I can sort it out. I think I'd have done this before I started. Right, that's it. I have no idea how good or bad that footage was. I had it strapped to my head for the first time, never done it before, so it could be all over the place, but we'll see when I get back. Right, welcome to Guadalmar Marina. We've been here before. So as the title of the video says, I'm going to be talking today about some of the attachments you'll have to give up if you're thinking about retiring and starting to travel full time on a budget. You know, when I first set off, I now know that I hadn't considered all of the implications of the things I'd have to give up. But before I get into listing the actual stuff, and so I don't frighten any of you off the idea before we even get started, let me tell you this: I've given up almost everything I've ever owned. I've given up lifelong habits that I thought I could never break. I've given up lots of attachments that I thought I couldn't live without. So how do I feel about giving all that stuff up a year and a half into it, a year and a half after setting off? I feel amazing, unburdened. I feel carefree, and I feel like, why did I ever think I needed all that stuff and baggage to be happy? That's the truth. Don't need it. Now remember, as I've said in many videos, these videos are about me, my feelings, my experiences. You might find a different outcome. This may not be for everyone, but it certainly worked out for me, right? And as usual, these are in no particular order, okay? Here we go. Firstly, and it's a big one, possessions. Both living possessions, day-to-day possessions, and sentimental possessions. You may have a house, you might have a nice car, lots of furniture, an old vintage motorbike that you go for rides on the odd sunny Sunday, and tons and tons and tons and tons of things like that. Oh, wait till they go away. If you heard that, it was a van. While I'm waiting, I mean, that means I'm not waiting, but anyway, while I'm waiting, guys, if you enjoyed the channel, hit the subscribe, join, give me a thumbs up, write a comment. But subscribing is so important to the channel, and only a small percentage of people on YouTube ever do subscribe. But if you've ever been on the verge and you can't make up your mind, go on, hit the button. Got a big smile there, they were all looking at me in the van. Right, where was I? Right, and then there's the small stuff. This is the sort of thing when I was planning it, I wasn't really thinking about, but it turned out to be very weird, giving all this stuff up. Right, I gave up my ironing board, my pots, my pans, my knives and forks and plates, my cup, my lawnmower, my bed sheets, my pillows, all the stuff in my shed, like old half-filled paint tins, tons of them, and my pressure washer and toolbox. Not that it could use very much, I have to admit. You know, you get the idea. So much stuff. You're giving up everything, practically everything. But it's okay. It turns out these things have nothing to do with making your life better. They just tie you down. That's a big statement. I'm telling you, true, for me. And there's other stuff you give up, but it turns out this is all good stuff associated with all the hard stuff to give up, right? So what exactly do I mean by that? Well, I mean, by giving your stuff up, you're also giving other stuff up. And they are things like paying for the uptake of your home, paying your electric and water, your rates. Oh, in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, they're still called rates. Your council tax and everything, maintenance, everything that comes along with owning your own home or renting your own home. By giving up your lawnmower and your garden tools, no more gardening. And no more searching through all the half-empty paint tins for the red paint you need to do a wee patch-up job on your red fence. You don't own a red fence anymore, and you don't have the tins if you did. No, you would. Get myself confused. I could go on, but it's a fact. Not having all this stuff makes your life far less complicated. Nobody can argue with that. These things don't really make you happy. And now that I don't have all that stuff, I realise I was weighed down by responsibility, debt, pressures of maintaining that life. So if you want to retire early, retire young and travel on a budget, you're going to be given 90% of everything you've ever owned up. Your possessions, they have to go. Now, there was some stuff that I didn't need and I couldn't let it go, but my dad was kind enough to let me have a corner of his garage. I had considered renting a small storage pod, you know, one of those places you go to and you leave your stuff, but on the basis that I didn't want to leave any financial commitments, that turned out, when I thought about it, not to be a very good idea. And on that, I just touched there about not leaving financial commitments. I've said it in other videos. I think it's very important it was for me to, when you leave, to have cleared every debt in the world that you have. If you sell your house or do whatever, get rid of all the debts, no matter how much it hurts. Don't have anything left. Leave no debt behind. And the reward for that is complete peace of mind. Fantastic. Best thing in the world.
A few moments later.
Had a lot of people walking past me, so I had to stop a few times there. So I hope it all makes sense. Right. Next, giving up your comfort zone. So by comfort zone, I mean giving up the places that you feel safe and comfortable. The places that you're used to, the neighbours that you chat to occasionally, your local, your favourite butchers. I gave up all my TV entertainment apart from Netflix, which means all of my favourite TV programmes gone. No Sky TV, no Coronation Street, no Formula. Why did I just say Coronation Street? I don't watch Coronation Street, but you know what I mean. No Formula 1, I mean, I'm Formula 1 mad. Give up Sky, you're giving up Formula 1. Sort of. And I gave all that up 6 months before I left. But in saying that, I've adapted. First of all, I've much less urge or requirement to sit at home watching TV. And most of the programmes that I enjoyed the most, I've found ways of watching them, although it usually means not watching them live. But you get used to that, no problem. I watch Netflix occasionally now because if you just watch it constantly, you're going to run out of stuff to watch. Sky News is on the internet. You obviously use the internet for a lot of stuff, but it took me a while to get used to not having BBC and not having Sky, and that you've got yourself in a way of living where you're in the house, TV goes on, and you know, but now it's gone with me. I'm far more productive in how I live my life, yet I'm here on my own, and you would think that would be very difficult. Other type of comfort zone stuff are, for example, treats. Stuff that you really like at home that you may not be able to get in other countries. Quite often you can't get stuff. I'm doing without a lot. Any of you that watch my very early videos, I hunted for a long time for peppered sauce and garlic butter, and I haven't found them anywhere in Europe that you can buy them. Supermarkets, anywhere, not even the English supermarkets. So you have to give stuff up, and especially if you're living on a budget. Like, there's definitely a lot of stuff I was spending when I arrived in Spain originally in the English supermarkets for treats, but you're paying twice as much, which you just can't do, you know. If you're got a certain amount to live every month, that's just out of the question, for me anyway. But again, giving up your treats, your comfort stuff, has some wonderful consequences. You find new favourite treats, you find new activities and things that are much better for you than sitting watching TV, you know. And then you have probably the most difficult one, family and friends. You're leaving your family and friends. Luckily we live in a world now, it's very easy to stay in contact with people, but you're leaving your family and friends. So this is going to be very different for everyone. For me, single all my life, no kids, small family circle, So it hasn't been too difficult. I have nearly as much contact with them now as I did before I left, with the phone and WhatsApp, etc. And then there's friends, and again, you miss them, but I stay in contact. In fact, I would say I'm in contact with my friends now more than I was before I left. The one thing is, you don't get to meet up with them, you don't get the hug if you need a hug, you know? But that is what it is. It's one of the hardest things for me. I've been home a couple of times. You're just busting to meet up with your friends and have a proper catch up face to face. But you get used to it, it's like everything. So I put this video together just to put it in people's head before they leave. There's other stuff you need to consider. There's another level of things you have to think about and content yourself about and be sure you're going to be able to cope with. And you don't ever really know if you're going to be able to until you're away. The unknown can be scary, but it can also be exciting. If you want to retire, travel, you have to be willing to embrace the unknown, and in my experience, bring it on. You know, retiring and travelling, it's a big dream. I have heard so many people say it to me. I was a driving instructor and it was just something you heard all the time. Retiring young, travelling the world, going and living in Spain, those sort of things. People don't do it, they think it's out of reach. They think they can't do it, it just seems like too big a thing, but I can tell you, you can, you absolutely can. You don't have to have tons of money, you can figure ways out. It's amazing how you adapt to no matter what situation you go into, and if you have no burden behind you, it's much easier to adapt. So what are you waiting on? Start planning your retirement. Give yourself a date, give yourself a time in the future when you're going to go, and just commit. Easy for me to say, single man, no family, you know, so as I keep saying, this is a video, this is how I feel, but I just feel that anyone who wants to do it can do it. And remember, you really are only in this earth once. That's a saying we hear all the time, but it's true. You only in this earth for a certain length of time, and then you're going to die, and you're going to be dead for eternity. Hopefully we're going to a better place, but that's it for as far as this earth goes. You're only here for a short period of time, and then you're not going to be here anymore. So stop worrying about stuff that you've worried about all your life. Stop holding on to stuff that you don't need, that you've held on to all of your life. Stop worried about what other people think. If you go, what are they going to say? Which I did for quite a long time. You know, you can't take any of that stuff with you. Life, especially if you've worked all your life, the rest of your life is for finding out what it's like to be carefree, finding out what it's like to not have worries and try to be happy. Definitely my happiness levels have went up. There's no miraculous. You don't do this and all of a sudden you go from being average to really, really happy, bubbly. It's not like that, you know. But there's a contentness and a happiness that gradually creep in, and you just feel better and better and less burdened by life, and especially less burdened by the past. I don't even look into the future very much, although I do a bit because I have to, because what am I going to do next? But day-to-day things, don't do it. Just don't do it. Get up in the morning and think to myself, what am I going to do today? Go for a swim, I'll start a video, I'll edit, I'll do. But no pressure. If I get up and I think I have to do a video, I now always come to the conclusion, if you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. Right? So there. Hope it all made sense. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find it useful. Hope you maybe help. Even if there's one person out there that makes them finally decide what they're going to do, I'd be over the moon. And if you've any comments about anything I've talked about, please leave them in the comments section below. And I get back to everybody. I always respond to messages. So far anyway. And please take a second to hit the thumbs up. It's really, really good for the channel. Very easy to do. If you like the channel, please subscribe. The more subscribers, the better. And if you want reminded of videos as they come out, hit the wee bell icon. Now, my next video, it's a bit different. I'm gonna, now that I've reached 1,000 subscribers, things change a bit. Anyway, I'll talk about it in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.